Alrighty. Right. Cranberry wine. Good evening, buddy. How are you doing? Let me just make sure that everything's running. Ah, shit. Give me a second. I thought that I opened this up. Good, man. Good. Worked today. A little bit tired, to be honest with you. But overall good, man. Pretty good, I would say. Now just hanging out a bit. Yeah, same. Pretty much the same. What did I want to do? So what can we do today? What should we do today? Our reactjs library. When you have something, make sure you share it with us. I'd like to see for sure. Alright, so let's do something today. Let's see how many people will also join, right? That's also important. And in the meanwhile, I'll just do a couple of things. So first of all, there was a bug that I saw over here. If I refresh this view, or was it this one? No, yeah, that's a little bit weird. Now it works. Give me a second. Or maybe that's when I'm logged in. Yeah. Alright, so let's start some simple stuff and then we'll see. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Give me a second. Wow, okay, what about production? If I go to production and refresh. Oh yeah, so it was this one. If I refresh when I'm on a single course, it's in production at least, right? Let's try that again. Yeah, it happens here, it seems. Let's see, let's try that again. Is some request pending or something? Let's see, waterfall. Notifications, notification tags. Courses, web. Yeah, so that's a little bit weird. Huh. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, okay, all good. I mean, I work at Dream Data. We have probably one of the most complicated products on the planet in that domain. So I absolutely follow you. I built the whole filtering system for Dream Data where I work. Just we're a little bit more than just a BI tool. But I follow. This is a little bit weird. Give me 1 second. Real estate. Got it. Yeah, okay, I don't actually know what's happening there. One thing that I wanted to do, let's actually start with something like that, right? Just wanted to do another thing. Let's go to Louis Gui. Just some simple stuff. All right, just give me a second. Hopefully we can get to write some Go as well. But I just wanna fix few things, or still do some of the work here. I think, yeah. I think it's this thing. Yeah. Let me just inspect it a little bit here. Interesting. Okay. I guess this right margin is to align it with this. Okay, I see. P2, was there a P2? There was a P2, right? Then we had this crap here. Yeah, so we basically don't need this, right? Give me a second. Let me go to, where did I want to go? Icons. Let me go to this thing. Expand. What about other things, Cranberry? Apart from work. Anything new in other domains of life? Yeah, that fucking sucks, to be honest. Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, I'm just fiddling with this crap a little bit. I don't even know if it's relevant. I just realized it. Give me one sec. I think also last night when I streamed, I think we forgot one thing. Yeah, and then this thing as well would be nicer if it was a nav link of some sort, right? So let's do that instead, and let's say 2, right? And then a template literal. Now it can be just a string /login. Is that where it is, right? I think it is. Login, right? Yeah. Where was that? This is Loic. So let's actually keep that for now. Fuck it. And then here I can say something like this, right? What? Oh, shit. My bad. Alright, cool. Let me just check one thing very quickly. Nah. That kind of sucks. Yeah. Leo, my friend, good evening. How are you, bro? Good, man. Good. Not bad. What about yourself? What about yourself, buddy? How are you? How is life? Go first, exactly. Yeah, I'm just kind of, yeah, fiddling with certain things. Give me 1 second. Course details. Where's the controls? I think we had some controls somewhere. Pagination, right? This thing. Yeah, exactly. So this I think should be kind of outlined, right? Don't you think? So usually go next and then. Yeah, so something like this. Just super tiny things. Give me a second. Let's play something. This is fine. Let's close that thing. Play this game on stream, add additional tags, new video subject. I don't believe that one of our senior developers suggested to rewrite everything from scratch because apparently the front. So was that the argument that everything sucks? That is amazing. Wow. Okay. Well, that's how it is. That's how it is, my friend. It's too much of a. That's how it is. What can you do? What can you do? Can't do much, right? Your CTO, if you have one, probably sucks ass, right? So that's why. That's mostly the reason, right? That's just how it is. Chief Technical Officer, CTO, is generally a person that works next with the CEO, right? It's the main person that deals, and then generally under CTO you have some engineering director or whatever, and then you have team leads, tech leads, etc., right? So you have like generally yeah, well, yeah, that's maybe then the problem of the organization. Oh wow, actually, right? So generally you have like CEO and CTO kind of working together. So, but let's separate them. So you have a CTO, you have a like generally engineering director under the CTO, and then you have, you know, under engineering director you have team leads, you know, tech leads. And I know, of course, under those you have, yeah, the teams themselves, right? So you have team 1, like team 2, etc., right? But a CTO is always works alongside CEO. And then, of course, yeah, it can branch It doesn't matter if it's a 3-man startup or 5,000, you always have a CTO. CTO is generally one of the people who founded the company. If anyone was technical, so if my network, programmer networks, would succeed and I would get funding, I would be a CTO, and I would find right. So if any of my personal projects would succeed, I would be a CTO, and I would find someone to be CEO, someone to run the business. There's no difference. Founder is a different thing. It doesn't matter if you're a founder. Founder just means that you founded the company. That's not a role. Founder is not a role. That's like the founder is not a role. It's just a word that describes that you are one of the people who founded the company. It's not a role. You cannot say what's your job and you're like founder. Founder is not a job. It's just a description that you're one of the founders. You have to have a role. You have to do something in a company. You cannot be founding the company every day, right? Right? Okay. Exactly. Helping people find things. Exactly. Okay. So yeah. So let me just push this super tiny thing. I'm just gonna and actually wait. CEO is Chief Executive Officer, and CTO is Chief Technical Officer. So these two roles are vastly different, have nothing to do with each other. Okay, just some tiny changes, super tiny changes. Yeah. Just need to get back into habit of streaming again, right? You have a bunch of these acronyms, Leo. You have CFO, Chief Financial Officer. You have CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. CEO, CTO, CFO, CMO. Those are just acronyms for, yeah. There's many of them, right? Many of these acronyms exist. All right, so yeah, that's what it is. So let's see what we're gonna do today. So let me see if there's obviously, I mean, if we would stick to this, there would be shit tons of things to do. It's just like when I look at the courses feature now, what it is that I actually dislike. Let me actually go to, well, yeah, there's the landing page for courses, which kind of sucks. And that's normal because there aren't any courses really. There's only mine in production, right? My pleasure, Leo. My pleasure, man. Maybe the ordering. So if I actually go to the dashboard, right, then I go to courses here, and I edit the course here. Yeah, I mean, what would be nice if one could actually reorder these things by drag and drop. Wait a minute. Drag and drop API. Yeah, maybe we could do something like this now, just have a little bit of fun, right? Because what I would like to do when you're updating your course is that you can fiddle with these things. Because right now I can't reorder them, right? Yeah. Numinex, my friend, good evening. Not much, man. How are you? For some reason I'm a little bit tired today. But other than that, very good. What about you, man? How are you? Good to see you as always. Dashboard list view. All right, so let's maybe implement some drag and drop here, right? I guess. I don't think that would be terrible to do, right? So let me find where this crap is. And I guess it's here, right? So let me just write some string just to identify where we actually are. So if I go to localhost again, just take a power nap. Yeah, I mean, my streams are not that long. They're maybe around 2 hours. So don't worry. I will not suffer for too long. Courses, yeah, let's get over here. Yeah, okay. So this is where we are, right? That's good, man. Hard task means you're gonna learn something new. So yeah, I know that you know, but use that opportunity to be happy, right? Because all right, so let's implement some drag and drop here, right? Easy tasks are for my intern. All right, so shut up, guys. Okay, let's implement some drag and drop here. I'm not gonna install any library. We can just so let's see how we do that, right? So let's go to let's open up some code sandbox, right? Let's open up some code sandbox and just play a little bit with drag and drop API. Then I'm gonna implement that there. I guess sign in, right? Sign in with GitHub. All right, cool. New editor version available. Okay, cool. And VS Code, what? You're almost there. Okay, no, never mind. What the fuck is happening here, man? So let's create a new a dev box. And let's say React, and let's say it create sandbox. Yeah. So let's play with this crap, right, a little bit. So I just want to isolate it from the project just so we can, I mean, we can also create draggable list, right? But then, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can try doing that as part of our actual Louis GUI, right? So let's maybe do that. I think that's better, right? So let's create another core component. Let's call it draggable list or something. Is that how you spell draggable? I guess 2D. Yeah, okay. 2G, 2D. Jesus Christ, what is happening with the music, man? Ah, I see. Okay. All right, cool. No, but yeah, let's call it draggable list or orderable list. Or no. Let's call it draggable list, right? So yeah, so we're gonna maybe start with that today. Shit. All right, cool. And we're gonna create a draggable list.stories tsx. And yeah, I'll just grab some What the fuck? All right, cool. Ah, never mind. Let's just run it like this. Let's open it up in here. Let's search draggable. Yeah, here it is. So draggable list default should be just hi world right now, right? Okay, cool. Let me just close this shit. Cool. So what I'm gonna do, right? Let's define this. So this component is probably gonna be some sort of a list, right? Let's make it an ordered list, and let's say it's gonna take items. So it's gonna take some items, and actually let's say here a functional component, right? Again, we're gonna have some interface here or something, right? So we're gonna say drag interface draggable list items yeah, literally that's what I wanted, right? Yeah. So you're gonna have something for start like that, right? And obviously here we're gonna say items, right? Beautiful. Here we have some items now. That's great. Okay, cool. Let's we know that we're gonna have a class name for sure, right? So we're gonna have class name string. That's gonna be optional. And here we're gonna say class name. Yeah, well, class name, right? Yeah, it's a library, exactly. Yes. It's open source. You can use it as well. You can just go to where is it? Yale. This is it. All right, cool. So going back to this fella here, so we have this now, and we're gonna have some base obviously things. So let's use class names here. We're gonna have some base, and then we're gonna have whatever the class name. Let's say here text primary text color. That's great. My pleasure, my friend. My pleasure. And yeah, so this technically also can indeed be a component as well. So we can provide this list item as a component, right? But we'll see. We don't want to go crazy too much with designing this. So let's see how this drag and drop it. HTML drag and drop interface says enable application to use drag and drop features in the browser. The user may select draggable elements with the mouse, drag those elements to a droppable element, and drop them by releasing the mouse button. A translucent representation of the draggable elements follow the pointer during the drag operation. You can customize which elements can become draggable, the type of feedback the draggable element produces, and the droppable elements. Okay, cool. Mouse. Okay, so we can see the drag events are actually inherited from the mouse events, meaning basically when you release the elements that you're dragging, right? A typical drag operation begins when a user selects a draggable element, continues when the user drags the element to droppable element. During drag operations, several event types are fired, and some events might fire many times, such as drag and drag over. Each drag event type has associated event handler, a draggable item. Okay, cool. Let's not get this is way too bottom up, right? So let's start doing something. I'm just gonna do one thing, because if I remember well, there's V3 schools have a very good example of this. Exactly, right? That's a very a little bit better. Okay, well, let's start playing here with this thing, right? So I guess first we want to make this draggable. If we actually take a look at this Booleanish beautiful draggable, so I guess we can make, drag. Yeah, so yeah, this is great, right? So to make an element draggable, set draggable thing, attribute, right? So we're gonna do that to our list item here. So we're just gonna say, hey, a list item, you're actually draggable. That's great. Then specify what should happen when the element is dragged. In the example above, on drag start attribute calls a function drag event. It specifies what data to be dragged, right? Okay. Okay, and I guess here on drag, so let's come here and say handle drag, and let's print the event, right? So let's kind of figure out. There's obviously 5 billion libraries for this. That's okay. I don't want to install something because most of these libraries, they come with a enormous amount of features that I don't need. I just need a simple reordering of the list. That's really all. And this is complaining that yeah. I guess this should be the type, right? This should be the full type. It's not a generic. Okay. So let's try like this. So what is this? What is this actual drag event handler? Yeah, what is it complaining about? I don't get it. Drag event element. Okay, wow, that's a little bit weird. But drag event doesn't seem to be generic. That's okay. So we imported the wrong one. So it's drag event. It's synthetic event, I guess, from React, right? Okay, great. So let's see now what happens. So if we go to our storybook here and inspect, right? Let's try to drag some crap. Yeah, so now we're dragging shit, right? And I guess, yeah, okay, so that's good. So now what I would like to do is I would like to know, hey, when I drag this over some other element, how can we get a handle of that thing that I'm dragging over, right? So for example, if I take item 1 and I drag it over item 2, I want to know. So let's actually see what we can decipher from here, right? So we have, but before we, let's actually just read a little bit. Reading documentation, trust me, is the fastest way in most cases. What to drag on drag start and set data. Then specify what should happen when the element is dragged. In the example above, the on drag start attribute calls a function drag event. It specifies what data to be dragged. Yeah, we'll not be using this, right? So this is more of a native DOM implementation, where to drop on drag over. Okay, so basically if we take a look at their implementation, so we have a drag, and then for some reason we need to prevent this. So let's just implement this and we'll. So let's say const handle drop, right? It's probably gonna be probably gonna be what is it called? The same synthetic event here. So we're gonna do this, and then if, let's say E, and E. And let's actually see if we are getting this. That would be interesting. Handle drop. And where are they actually adding this drop thing? On drag start to drag, on drag over allow drop. The thing is, so these items are draggable, right? But I guess we wanna drop. Let's say here handle drop, right? Sorry, handle drop, right? So let's now see what happens when we actually drop. So let's go over here, and yeah, we're already there. So let me just remove this console that we have on the drag. So I actually no longer care about that. Let's refresh. So if I drag this and drop it, does actually anything happen? Doesn't seem so. Are we printing anything? Handle drop. Let's see. No, nothing's actually happening, right? I'll read your question in like 2 minutes. Just give me a moment. I just need to. So on drop, yeah, handle drop. No, so, I mean, this UL should be droppable area, right? So let's see. Let's try putting this here just to brute force a bit. Yeah, so that's not the case, right? Handle drop event. Let's just console this out. Sorry, comment this out. Wait, React drag and drop API. No, I don't wanna be using no, I mean all of this shit is using the library. It doesn't actually matter. So let's just figure it out ourselves. So we have, it's just what's unclear to me is that, wait a minute, so the image is draggable, right? Which is true, yeah, that's correct. On drag start. What is this allow drop? Where is this? Allow drop, okay. Yeah, okay. That's on drag. Let's go here as well. Let's at least try to learn it. Yeah, handle a drop. On drag start, that's what they have, right? Let's just say here e dot prevent default. That's also what they're doing, right? Yeah. And I guess, right, and I also guess, like, once we start dragging, right, we want to set that in the state, right? So let's come here and say const dragged. No, this doesn't have to work on mobile. This is never gonna be used in mobile. This is used in in our dashboard when you're making courses and stuff. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But yeah, this is not gonna be used in mobile, because for that we would need to use the configure some touch events and stuff like that. So we're not gonna be doing that. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Okay, so let's actually do that. Let me just try to drag this. Did I by accident drag? Oh, am I getting an error or some sort? Because I don't see this actually being dragged anymore. Wait a minute. Handle drop. On drop, let me remove that. Yeah, something's a little bit weird now. So why are we not? So this is in fact draggable, right? So we have that on drag start. Maybe it's this. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Okay, my bad. Okay, cool. So let's see now. Item. So what are we now getting? We're getting now nothing interesting, right? But what we could do basically, right over here, we could create a closure, or we could just so we could do something like this, right? So we can say e, and then we can say e, right? And then we can say the item as well, right? And here we can say that this is taking an item, which is draggable item. And then once we start dragging, right, handle drag, we can say set dragged id item.id, right? This way, this is going to enable us to style the item that's being dragged. So for example, yeah, let's see about that, right? So what I can do now here, I can say class name, class names, right, the library itself, and I can say exactly, right? So now if I do this, is actually, are we doing that or not? Let's see. No, let's say text rows 500. Yeah, so you can see this is the item now I'm dragging. It's just highlighting that one. And then I guess once we release, once we drop the item, so handle drop, right? On drop, I guess, handle a drop, right? I suppose we would want to do like set dragged ID null, something like that, right? The problem is that this handle drop doesn't actually seem to be called, because maybe we need to call this on the actual on the parent element where we are dropping this, right? Let's see, on drop capture, let's try that. What is the difference? No. What if we actually smack this bad boy on the actual UL? And we saw that this on drag start is actually being called, right? So maybe if we say on drag end, right? And then here we call handle drop. Yeah, there we go, right? So now we should in fact be seeing something, right? Yeah, there we go, right? So I guess get text, so that's not gonna really do. Let's just print the E, right? And okay, so I get it, right? So it's fairly simple, right? So now what we can do is we can also, so it's gonna be just a bunch of states, right? So we also need to, so now as I'm dragging this thing over something else, right, we will want to set that in the state. So let me show you. On drag over, right? Exactly, right? So on drag over, we pretty much want to const drag over, exactly, right? Pretty much, right? And then here on drag over, we're going to say set dragged over ID, item ID. And then we can do pretty much the same here, right? So I'm going to say text indigo 500. So now the element that I'm dragging over should be highlighted. And as you can see, it is, right? So now the element that I'm dragging over is being highlighted with blue, right? And then we can also say, right, clearly, here, right, handler drop, we're gonna say set dragged over ID also null, right? If I refresh this right now, right, so you can see as I'm dragging over them, it's highlighted, and then once I release, yeah. Okay, cool. So as you can see, it's fairly simple, right? Don't need any crazy library for this. Cool. So next thing we want to do, right, is once I actually release, so on drag over, on drag, where is it? On drag end, right? We need to make sure it like has the user dragged over some. So if I drag this item 1 to item 4, that means I want to, swap their order, right, in our context. So we need to implement that. So on drag end, Loinvest, thank you very much, man. Thank you again for another sub, dude. I appreciate it. 6 months that you've been subbed for 6 months. That's crazy, man. Thank you very much. That's very awesome, man. Handle drop, yeah. So another thing again. No, I'm not gonna use a library. That's the whole. I don't need a library for this. We just need the very simple functionality. So that's why, yeah. So now actually, so let's see here. So now you can see when this on drag thing ends. Let's see, what do we get? So on drag event fired, like, do we actually get? Give me a second. So here, so do we have some e dot target or something like that? Current target. Let's see what we want to do, right? So the target is, can we say e dot? Let me just take a look at that. So yeah, so the current target basically is the URL itself. That's okay. So what would be cool that when this handle drops on drag end happens, that we can actually get the target or the target where we actually drag the initial thing. So we need to figure out how do we actually get the item 4 now, right? So we need on drag over, on drag, let's leave capture, on drag exit enter, on duration change and start capture, on drag leave. You see now when I release, when this handle drop basically happens, and I guess if we would do this, it wouldn't make sense, right? If I do something like this, it actually doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter because this just fires, right? Oops, shit. So yeah, we just need to figure out now, that's kind of, when it comes to features, right, that's the most core thing now. And then everything else is going to be just exposing the props and stuff, right? So now when this handle drop really happens, so yeah, so I don't think it's going to be here, right? We need to, so we have on drag over. So I guess what we could do, we could say if on drag that the last element under which on drag over happened must be maybe the element where the element was dragged or released to, right? Maybe, right? And then before we clear the stuff here, right, we can print that, right? So what I'm saying, right, is something like this. So dragged, right, so dragged over ID, something like that, right? So now when I release this here, we should get 4, right? Which is good, right? I think that's great. And then I guess what we would need the one that we are actually dragging right now, right? So, which means we also have that. We have sect dragged ID. So here we have, where is it? Where was I? Yeah. So here we have dragged ID, the one that I'm dragging, and right. So now if I do this, I can see that I drag the element 1 over the element 4, right? So that's already great. And now we would need to write we would need to reorder them, right? So we would have to say, hey, you know, item 1 should now be on position 4, right? And item 4 should be on position 1. So let's create some utils here. So I'm going to say, just so you can see, so I'm going to say draggable list.utils.ts, and I'm going to say const order reorder export const reorder list. Let's actually see if this guy is smart enough to do it. So const reorder no, we need some sort of a swap or something, right? But let's just think about it. So again, if I move this here, no, actually no, that's not the case, right? So what? Neo, good evening, my friend. So no, when I move this thing somewhere, right, we need to then so we need to kind of recalculate all of the indexes, right? So it's not that I'm swapping them. That's not right. Yeah, I think so, right? So exactly, right. We have to just reorder them, right? So because this would be a different feature, right? It's like doing that would be slightly different, right? So when I move this to this one, I'm saying push them all by 1, right? Okay, that's good. Now I wonder, let me just take a look at that. Are we using some? No. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna use our amazing Jean-Code Van Debug and say here, write a reorder function that I will call on drag to order elements in the list when drag and drop happens. Let's see like what this guy's gonna do. Just give me a second. I need to check my phone for a moment. Yeah, maybe some. Let's see what it did, right? So let's do this. Let's import this. I think it's complaining that it's not. Yeah, that's a little bit weird. Shit. Shouldn't have done that, right? All right, that's better, I guess. Yeah. Let's see what happens now, right? So I guess that's good, right? Right? I guess that's what we wanted, right? So let's see how ChatGPT did it. So we have reorder, we take the list. We use the from, okay, that's great. Creates an internet object, exactly. So we splice it by the start index, so we get this. Okay, so what was the splice mutable or immutable? Well, slice was immutable, splice was mutable, I believe, right? No, splice was the immutable one. Let me check splice. I think. Yeah, so the slice was the immutable one, right? Yeah. So I don't know why the robot used splice. That's a little bit weird. Yeah, but okay, it's fine. All right, so let's improve this a little bit. So we're gonna say if well, we'll see about that, right? No, actually, this is fine. It's fine. Okay, so that's good. So we have a working drag and drop now, right? It's super simple, and that's really all we need, right? Now the question is how much. So now we need to get a new list. So now we need to just extend this thing, make this draggable list component, because this is an open source library I open sourced, right? No, Mac is this is my streaming computer. I use Mac for work for many years. Yeah, so this is good. So now the main question is how crazy we want to go with this, right? Like you can see, we can have these like draggable areas. Like when we're dragging, we can kind of highlight the elements and stuff like that. So that thing I don't think we're gonna do now, right? It's we don't really need that, right? But we could provide these props, right? So we have a class name for the whole thing. And then we could provide a class name for, we can say something like dragged class name, dragged over class name, right? Something like that, right? And of course, we want to do this, right, if these things exist, right? So we need to, yeah, it's a conditional type of thing, right? So can I do something like this? Can we do something like this, right? Otherwise, let's just say it's an empty string, right? And I guess we can do the same here, right? We could actually we could do it a little bit easier. Can't we do like this, right? Yeah, right? That's a little bit shorter, isn't it? And we'll generate tests for this as well, right? So, but let's give it a shot now. So let's go to the story. Where's our story here, right? And we're gonna say, hey, and we're gonna say bg bg primary, whatever. Yeah, so as you can see, that works. Draggable class over bg, let's say bg rows 500, just so we can, yeah. So as you can see, as I drag over the elements, we actually get, in fact, that class, right? So that's cool, right? So that seems to work. Let's actually just inspect that slightly a bit. So just see, you can see how the class is being added and removed as we hover over things. So that's great, that works. That's good. Let me just close this other garbage here. Yeah, we don't really need this utility file, right? So let's get rid of that as well. Okay, so what else? So we have these classes we can expose for the consumer to use. Then obviously when the reorder happens, right, we want to fire some event, right, giving the new list to the consumer, right? So let's actually come here and say types.ts. I'm just going to move these interfaces there, and then we're going to export them, right? So let's just do this, and then we're going to import them in here, right? Yes. Oops. Draggable list. Oh shit, let's, just like you would do in C# and stuff, let's prefix our interfaces with I, or in C++, right? Let's say something like this. Yes. Draggable list item. So yeah, so it should be fine right now. Cool. And as I said, yeah, so next thing we want to do, right, we want to C#, exactly. So here, I guess, let's on sorted, right? Right, exactly. So right, we want to, and of course, yeah, we will make this optional. Yeah, C# is a nice language. I like C#. And then here we're gonna say unsorted, and yeah, we're gonna basically say, hey, if user has provided this, yeah, okay, let's just say then, oops, but my manager likes it. Fair enough. All right, cool. So if we now go to the stories and come here and say unsorted and just print it, actually we can also use this action thing, but it doesn't really matter, right? So let's see now, when I drag, we should get a newly sorted list. As you can see, we do. So 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, that's great. That's good. That's awesome. So we have a small library already that we built ourselves. Here, a component. So what else could I need here myself? What else could I need myself? Let's see. So we have the event that fires when we order things. We have the outer class name that's on drag end. We have this as well. What else? What else do we really need? Do we actually need? Can we go with can I just start with this, right? Can I start with this is the question. Because if we go to production, if we go to program without network, if we go to courses, right? No, actually, sorry, if I go to the dashboard and then courses and edit, what I really want to do is I want to be able to drag these on top of each other, right? So chillax, my friend, good evening. So yeah, so for sure we want to do one thing, right? We probably want this list item to be also potentially passed as a component, right? Yeah, right. So we want to provide the list item as a node. cranberry wine. There he goes, keeps giving people things. List item component, yeah. So here the list item component, right? Thank you very much, buddy. That's very kind of you, man. Basically, what we can do here, we can use, if we go to React patterns, right? We can do render prop, right? So render. So we could do a render prop in here, right? For instance, right? Or whatever. We can render whatever we want, right? We can just as well render children, right? And because so now the main point here is like how abstract we want this to be. Do we want to provide an actual list, or do we just want to provide an ordering capability, and then the consumer of this component decides how to do the markup, right? So that is the main question. Numinex is a Patreon as well, and now he's also a subscriber. So yeah, so that's the core question, right? We could just provide this capability, right? And then, do I want to do that whatsoever? At least now, probably not, right? Yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell right now, because once we start actually using this, right? Because now when I start using it in this context, we'll see. Yeah. What did I say? List item component, right? Because right now this only takes the title, and I don't think that would be something that Wait, let's play some metal. I don't know why is this playing right now. Fucking Africa, man. It doesn't have to be metal though. Let's play some System of a Down again. Okay, cool. That's fine, right? That's fine. I don't actually know how far do I want to go with this. That's the problem, right? That is the problem. So if we leave it like now, it's semi-customizable, right? But yeah, not too customizable, right? So what we could do, so yeah, okay. So let's just do it like this, right? We could compose this list with all these props, for example, right? But okay, no, let's not go crazy. I think this is most likely more than sufficient for us to start using, right? In Programmer Network. Okay, so yeah, so we do provide this component now, right? It more or less should be okay. Let's see what we've done. So we have that, right? Wow, you're crazy. Exactly, Numinix, yeah. I was already suggested to use a library. The problem is, right? So the biggest problem, right, with libraries, let's just discuss that, right? So let's imagine that we used something like some library in React. Let's discuss this, right? This is solid. So let's imagine that we've used some of these things, right? Let's imagine that I went and I said, yeah, let me use D&D kit, or what else did we open? React, drag and drop, right? What is the problem that I have with this, right? Well, the problem that I have with this right now is that these libraries naturally are supposed to solve all the problems, right? Multiple inputs, accessible, extensible, modular, performance, zero dependencies, customizable, blah, 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 right? But what I really need for my use case now is I need to take this element and drag it over some other element. So the point is not to say that one thing is better than the other. It's like sometimes, you know, if you have an application that's really heavily reliant on drag and drop, you probably want to use some of these libraries, right? Because you probably will need a lot of these features anyway, right? You see, they have a bunch of crazy shit. Look at this, right? It's nicely animated. Their problem, right? All of that, that's great, right? I'm not saying this is, I mean, community must have put a lot of work into this, right? But I don't need that stuff, right? Only thing I need to take this thing and drag it to the next line, right? And reorder. So I literally need this, right? So I'm not going to install a full-fledged library and use 3% of features because I need this crap, right? That would make zero sense. Why would I do that? And as you can see, I mean, this proves that it's fairly simple to do, right? It's not rocket science. We have a component that's what, like 40 lines of code, right? And that's kind of rational, right? So you're not going to install a fucking whole full-fledged thing. You look at this. I mean, it has 500 different features, right? So that makes no sense, right? All right. Anyway. Ah, shit, wait a minute, that's actually good. No. We need to bump this and we need to deploy this to npm. So we need to do this as well. Right, okay, that's great. Let's go to GitHub. Let's go here. Where's our Yale? It should be building now. Let's take a look at our actions, draggable list. Yep, that's awesome. If I go to my Fastify API, right? I think I had like ordering, reordering stuff. Nemi on YouTube. Hi Nemi. Didn't I create at one point? I'm pretty sure that I create lecture. Like Rammstein, exactly, Rammstein. Sort lectures. Yeah, here it is, sort lectures, right? So yeah, so you can see we had this before. I built this API before. If I actually open my Swagger spec, right? So sort, right? Yeah, so you can see this is the endpoint that I did, and it takes the lectures, each ID and the order, right? Okay. Yeah, so we'll see about that. So this, but we have the endpoint already, right? So that's good. Let me see how I build this. So we try to find the section by ID, include. If the section doesn't exist, we return. Then we start the transaction. We basically start updating. So yeah, this would probably be better if it was some sort of a bulk update, right? Because yeah, we're gonna call this n number of times, or to say the length of the lectures, right? So that kind of sucks. But yeah, we do it transactionally at least, so if it fails, it's gonna roll back. And so we loop through the lectures, we use the ID and order, and we say, hey, update the order where the ID of the lecture is that, and then we pass the transaction, right? So, fuck's sake, man. Why did I just got an email that the build failed? Why did the build fail? Fuck you, man. What happened? Is it formatting or some shit? Yeah, it's format. Wait a minute, what? Draggable stories, any. Where do we have any? Are you kidding me, man? Really? Where do we have any? Do we have any? Yeah, why the fuck is this any, man? Come on, dude. Jesus Christ. What would be the type of this? This would be like, come on. No, it's just a little bit weird that, yeah, that's what it is. That's how it is. That's what it is, right? Let's hope that it's gonna push this shit, man. Come on. Okay, that's what it is. That's what it is. Let's get back here. So no, that's not what I wanted. So let's go to releases. Let's remove this tag and, you know, push the same tag again. So we're gonna say D. I'm gonna delete this tag. I'm gonna create it again, recreate it. Then I'm gonna push again to that same thing, right? Go actions again. Yeah. So now we should be able to deploy it to npm. And yeah, this looks okay. We could use promise all here, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of syntax. This is a little bit imperative, right? But it's okay. It's not unreadable. It's just imperative, right? So lectures of I. And then, yeah, that's okay. So this seems a reasonable endpoint, right? Yeah, that seems fine. That seems okay. Yeah. And yeah, let's actually wait for this. This needs to pass. It needs to get deployed. Let's place some Black Label Society. Yeah, let's play some Black Label Society. All right, cool. So if we go to npm now, did we actually deploy it or did we not? Yeah, we did. So we deployed it. That's great. Let's now go to our front end. Where is it? Here, right? Yeah. Let's go to package.json, search for Yale. Let's bump it. Let's pmi. Now let's try using that component now, right? Let's try using that drag and drop that we've created, right? So I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna close that, right? So over here, is this where we kind of have that, right? Yeah. Oh, fuck. Ouch. I think we forgot one thing. Shit. We forgot to export it. Ooh. That sucks. Yeah, I think we forgot to do that, man. Yeah. Most likely we did forget that. Yeah, we did. Oh, I see. I see. Okay. That's what it is. That's how it is. What can I do? That's unfortunate. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do this, that, right? So I'm just going to keep this. I'm going to get rid of this. And then I guess this no longer is applicable, so it should be draggable list. What? Ah, never mind. Yep. Something like this, right? Yeah. And if we get over here now, this should be fine, right? Yep. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, that's what it is. That's how it is. So I'm gonna bump this again, unfortunately. And yeah. Export draggable list. Cool. Cool. Right? All right. So when that actually when that gets deployed, we're gonna use this draggable list here. We're gonna pass it the items, which is gonna be these bad boys. It'll be something like that. Then we have few class names, right? But the idea is, and then yeah. So I think what I will need to do think what I'll need to do, I'll need to loop through these fellas, right? And then I need to do a map on this and do something like lecture and then title, right? Something like that. We'll see in a moment. But we're gonna have something like this. A lecture, we do a map, we spread whatever we have now. Deep Harrier, I'm watching you. Good evening, Deep Harrier. Somebody writing on YouTube. All right, cool. Is this actually still running? Oh yeah, we do have a typo in here, don't we? Give me a second. Love from India. Good to have you here, man. Good to have you here. Let's see what we have. Yeah, no. I'm also streaming on YouTube, so I'm streaming on YouTube as well. Cranberry. Yeah, that's why. Okay, so that's gonna be great. Let's see if this is actually. Let's see if our if this is actually being export draggable list. Yeah, so yeah, technically that should be fine, right? So if I go over here, so now we should be able to PMPMI this version, right? I'm enlightened, exactly. Fired up, yeah, this is a good one. Okay. So PMPM dev. That's great. Louis GUI now. Okay, so draggable list, shit. Come on, man. Yeah, here it is, draggable list, right? Beautiful. So now we actually do have that. Let's see if that makes any sense though in the context of our, so let's go to localhost. Yeah, okay, so it's almost, yeah, so I mean, it kind of does work, yes. So we have a draggable list here, we just put it in the wrong place, obviously. Or sections, no, we actually haven't. No, it's okay, it's okay. So I think the only thing we really want to do is we want to comment out this fella over here, right? That's a little bit weird. Why is VS Code lagging a little bit? Okay. Yeah, so here it is, right? So I mean, technically, you can see that drag and drop kinda at least appears to be working, right? So and obviously we haven't handled that in the library that we just, in the little component we wrote, right? Because we need to, but we'll do that slowly. Maybe not today, but yeah. And I guess here we want to use the index, right? And then use it here, right, instead. Right, so you can see this is the idea, right? And that already works, so that's amazing, that's super. Obviously, right, we can see that in our component, like, so we'll most likely need to expose in Louis GUI the deep Harriet, just give me a second, I just need to, so if we go to the draggable thing we just built, right? So yeah, we should have maybe just made this a flex by default, but actually, or maybe we should have just exposed the li class name or whatever, right? At the very least, right? So that could have been a good start, right? So what we could have done is we could have said, hey, li class name, for example, right? Let's actually do that. why not, right? So we're gonna do this, right? And yeah, we're gonna make it optional as well, right? And in fact, right, we can just pass it here as a first argument instead, right? Yeah. And I think what would be great, right, with this little component we're building is that, because this is in most cases going to be asynchronous, right? Like we will wait for the server or whatever to respond with like, hey, actually that worked. So we can either leave it like this and assume, but it would be right now, right? Even if technically this API failed, right? While we're not calling the API yet, this order would still be changed, would still have been changed, right? So that's one of the things we'll need to update with this component, right? Is yeah. So we will basically want to so this thing is going to be some sort of a promise or whatever, and then if that is successful, then we will want to call this set list items, right? So let's actually take a look at that, right? So if we take a look at the types, here we can say that this returns a promise, right? Void of something, right? Even though that's or we can say promise of Boolean, right? Something like that, right? Then, like, if we actually take a look, do I still have this storybook open? Let's try to fake that. Let's try to. No, we don't. Okay, so let's go to, and yeah, let's run it. Let's reload. Yeah. So yeah, so what we will want to do, right? We'll use some timeout or whatever. So let's take a look at that, right? So this is API. Let's close the API for now. We don't need it. Yeah, so unsorted, right? So where is it? It's right over here, right? So so we can make this an async function, right? And we can try waiting on this, right? Away unsorted. And let's just do something like this, right? Cool. Yeah. Then if we go to the actual stories, this unsorted, right, is supposed to return some promise. So we're going to make this an async function as well. We don't really need to, though. We can just return a promise manually. We can say return new promise, right? Or we can just say return promise.resolve, right? True or something like that, right? But before we do that, right, we'll set some timeout in here. So actually, so we will in fact say return new promise resolve. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, oh my god, it's literally reading my mind. That's beautiful. And here we'll just say true, for example, right? And let's say 2 seconds, right? So now technically, if I do this, it's gonna wait 2 seconds and then reorder them, right? That's great. Right, because this is going to be the realistic use case, right? You're going to use this, you're going to call some API, you're going to get some response, blah, blah, blah. So that's clearly what we need. And really, it doesn't have to be a Boolean. It can be really anything. We could technically say unknown or any or whatever, right? So let's, in fact, maybe do that, right? So if I go to the types, maybe saying that this is a Boolean is a little bit silly. Let's just say unknown. Can I say unknown? I don't know if that's okay, but yeah. Now we can just resolve the items themselves actually here, right? Yeah, and if I go back here, right, if we print this response, we should see the item. So now if I drag it, we're gonna wait, and then we can now also introduce some loading state that list is being sorted or whatever, right? So this enables us now to be go a little bit more fancy, right? So here we can now say const is sorting, right? Exactly, right? And yeah, so here we can now say, you know, set is sorting, right? And obviously now, because this got slightly more complicated, right? We want to probably wrap some part of this in try catch, right? But we'll maybe get to that tomorrow. We don't need to do that now. So now, if we want to implement some sort of I guess some sort of a spinner of some sort, how would we want that to look? I don't actually know. Maybe we can just gray everything out and put a spinner on top of it, right? So here we can say, list items li. We can say, maybe, opacity, 50 is sorting, right? So as you can see, we lose a little bit of opacity, and then, right, let's actually say 30. Right, you can see it, right? And then what we can do, we can put some spinner on top of it, just absolutely position it or whatever, right? So we can make this list relative. And then, yeah, we can say, hey, if is sorting. I think we have a spinner icon, yeah. Is it, or is it, where is this coming from? Yeah, it is an icon. Okay, great. And yeah, here I'm going to say class name absolute, for example, and I'm going to say width of 12 and text primary, just so we can see, do we actually see this thing once we start sorting? So as you can see, we do see a spinner, and then it disappears, right? And also I'm going to say here is not sorting, and that, right? So now I do this, we see the spinner, hey, I'm sorting, and then it disappears, right? Just change that song very quickly. Black Label Society, Suicide Messiah, let's go with that, yeah. But yeah, something like that. So this is not to say that it's that it's great, but we'll need some sort of indicator, right? We don't need to do this. We don't need to finalize this now. But that's actually very awesome. So yeah, because yeah, we'll need this because yeah, once we call the API, we will need to wait until the API says, hey, things are good, because we also have a case if this fails, that, well, then we don't want this list to change, right? Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, let's as always, let's go to full camera. There were some questions before. Does anybody have these questions again? I can answer them now. I'm sorry, I was focusing on this. Is there any questions that I can help anyone with? Full cam, exactly. Full cam mode. I'm happy now to answer any questions. I can see there isn't many people tonight, which means I'm also gonna leave a little bit earlier as well. Yeah, 1 hour 40 minutes. That's great. But let's see if there's anyone that I can give any input on. now it's the time to ask. Or if anybody has anything that they want to discuss, please, let's do it. And I promise we're gonna do Go. We're gonna do Go this week. I'm just getting kind of back into streaming now and stuff. And actually, I'm happy that I'm fixing some of these things for Programming Network because, again, I want to make sure that... Oh, fuck. My stream was open the whole time. It's weird that you guys haven't heard any echo because my stream was opened on a different fucking screen. That's so weird. No, never mind. All good, all good. I had a stream, my Twitch opened on my computer the whole time. Didn't even realize. And actually, you know, just before we maybe round up for today, let's just go here because we'll finalize this tomorrow. So what I'm actually going to do, I'll just write a to-do list of what we have to do. Add a draggable icon to each list item to indicate that it can be dragged. Finalize the styling of this pinner, right? So we should also probably show some draggable icon, right? Because right now, if we would use this, you can see here, I don't think that users would actually understand that they can sort their lectures, you know. So we need some sort of an indicator, you know, this. We need like, where is it? Programmer Network resources. No, it's fine, guys. I mean, this is a, I'm actually happy when you guys give me peace to, did you install TikTok? No, definitely not, no. I didn't also have the time, but we'll figure some of these things out. Yeah, we need something like this, right? We need some indicator like this that users will know that, hey, you can actually drag this thing, right? Will you? Yeah, to be honest, you probably know the answer already. Most likely not. Most likely not. Because I don't think Leo that TikTok would change anything from this stream, right? Because again, as you know, people don't come to streams to watch somebody program. People come to streams to listen to people talking crap, right? So I will never just turn camera on and talk shit, right? So no matter what medium I go to, I don't think that an 18 years old fellas will come and watch me code, right? So this is entertainment platform, right? So if I want to fight for viewers, I would just talk crap nonstop, right? No, I don't think it would make my YouTube channel more popular because the audience on that platform doesn't have the patience to watch 1-minute videos, let alone, you know, 1 hour videos, right? So I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I don't think so. I think that the audience is completely different, right? Again, people use those platforms to entertain themselves, to kill time, not to learn, right? So just as most people watch Twitch, even programming streams, that Vim guy, that pirate guy, I mean, none of them are almost ever coding. They're just talking nonstop, right? So I don't think that me joining some other social platform would change that, right? Because people don't come here to watch someone code. They just want to kill some time, have some fun, and I get that, right? But it's not the coding part that people want, right? If that was the case, then those top streamers, at least top streamers in the context of popularity, they would actually be writing code, and they're not. They're not writing code. They're just talking crap, right? I mean, you know this already, right? So that is just the audience. So I don't think that it would make any difference, Leo, right? For me. What did I want to do? Yeah. So that's how it is. So I don't think, Leo, that would make any difference, right? Because this is not a platform for that, right? I mean, and you know this as good as I, right? If you check any of these streamers occasionally, right, you will notice. Is there somewhere you can find your settings, Jason? No, there isn't, unfortunately. No. But I'm using a default dark modern theme, and I'm using the background extension. So there's my pleasure, man. My pleasure. I mean, you know what, Leo? At the end of the day, look, man. I don't really care, to be very frank with you. Like, genuinely, as I said so many times, not to repeat myself. I don't even know what to think about this whole thing, right? Sometimes, but I can tell you, I mean, and I internalize that, and I'm very happy because I kind of internalize that, and I know what this Twitch is and what this Twitch isn't, right? I had some ideas before I started streaming, before I created this stream, and I had some ideas and some aspirations, but then I saw that that's not a thing, right? So, and it's good, right? I kind of clear that up in my head. And what this is just entertainment platform, right? And you can kind of have some sort of success if you follow that path, right? So I don't think that that's just the reality, right? I know when I'm talking and answering questions and just talking shit, there's, a bunch more people around. That's just how it is. That's the nature of the platform, right? So yeah, that's how it is. All right, well, let's round up. It's been 2 hours. I think it's sufficient. Let's start easy every day, maybe 2 hours like this. And then hopefully... Yeah, for sure, Chillax, for 100%. I'm mostly talking about quantity, right? Quantity in these platforms is really correlated to entertainment, right? And it has no correlation to knowledge almost in any way. It's more about just being entertaining, right? And that's it, right? At the end of the day, this is a gaming platform, right? And the audience on this platform is very young in general, right? Most viewers on this platform are, I believe, from age 18 to 24. So that's just how it is, right? And one can't do much about that, right? All right. Well, fellas, what is to say? Let's round up. Tomorrow we continue as always, and yeah, it's been amazing to see you all as always. Have a good night, Leo. I know it's midnight there, so good night, man. Chillax. I tried to bribe him with $25K. He said, lol. Pocket money, right. I wish. But yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Maybe it's time to get back to Go, but let's see what it is. Peace out, fellas. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye. Have a good one. Cheers.